Unless you live in Arizona, New Mexico, or Texas, you probably haven't heard much about how awful the violence is on our borders. And unless you live in a border state, it's not something you're seeing in the headlines of the newspaper or the lead news story on the nightly news each day. But it is a huge issue. Take a look at this chart from the National Post. Drug cartels have already infiltrated and set up hubs in major cities around the United States to move drugs, money, and weapons. The Department of Justice's National Drug Intelligence Center estimated that in 2009 and 2010, cartels operated in over 1,200 American cities. That's up from 50 cities in 2006. Let that sink in for a minute. And the violence is happening on both sides of the border. From January to September 2011, the Mexican government reported over 12,000 drug cartel-related deaths. That's been almost 50,000 deaths since 2006, when Mexico launched its crackdown on the cartels. Now it's a full-out war between the cartels and the Mexican army, not the ones that are corrupt. And it doesn't look like the cartels are going down without a brutal fight. So what exactly does this violence look like? Here's a scene from the new documentary called They Come to America, just to give you an idea on how dangerous the cartels are.
How dangerous would you say that is for civilians to be over by there?
That close to the border, I would say extremely.
Even if you're on American territory?
Absolutely.
Why? What would you think they're capable of doing if they just saw people walking around there?
It could be numerous things. It could be kidnapping. It could be shot with a high-powered rifle. It all depends on who's running it. They go through different cartels. Some are a lot more violent than others.
Think about how insane that is. Americans are being told by the American government and American law enforcement not to travel to certain parts of our own country because they aren't safe, because the drug cartels and the illegals are threatening us. Meanwhile, we're breaking our own laws to cater to these people. We're actually turning the tide of the federal government in favor of people who aren't even U.S. citizens. Can you name another country on this planet that does that? No. You can't, because we're the only one. Now, who's in favor of that, and where do you draw the line? Let me welcome back former Colorado Congressman and founder of the American Legacy Alliance, Tom Tancredo, and Dennis Michael Lynch, who's the writer and director of the new documentary on illegal immigration, They Come to America. Thanks for joining. Well, thanks for you coming back, and thanks for you coming in.
Pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Before we showed the clip of your film, we showed another clip from another documentary filmmaker who was actually approached on this side of the border by the Mexican military, and they had their weapons at the ready. It's a frightening clip, but whether it's the cartels or the corrupt members of the military, if the military is just coming across the border and we're not doing anything about it, that's a real problem.
Listen, you got to go back to that clip that you just showed and hit play again. What happens is that I'm stopped by a Border Patrol agent who says, don't go any further. There are men in the trees with machine guns. We didn't listen. We go, and we see what he's talking about, and I'm chased.
We do have another clip.
On American soil. Now, the thing is that, you know, I'm a regular, everyday guy who went down and made his first movie. I didn't believe what it was that I was going to see down there.
Now, we're looking at it right there. You're being chased there.
We're being chased.
You're on this side of you're on the American side of the border.
We're on the American side of the border. We have a camera up that's a nighttime camera, and we have one in our hand. So we're capturing everything. Americans, unless you're a Border Patrol agent or you live on the border as a rancher, you do not understand what is going on down at the border. The YouTube videos that you see where the kids jump over and they're running, that's sexy. That's why you see that. Take the camera about another 2 miles down, there are no fences. There are no Border Patrol agents. There are no lights. They're just walking right through. Korans and prayer rugs are being found.
Even better.
Yes, there are people that are coming over here. Yes, there are people that are coming over here to cut your lawn. But there are also people coming here to cut your throat. And you're looking at a guy who watched September 11th like this. I'm one of the people you see running from those buildings. I'll be damned if I let something like that happen again without somebody first putting a bullet in my head. This is the sort of thing that's going on. While you're interviewing us, hundreds of people are coming across that border. This isn't something I made up. This is something that I saw and filmed. And yet, I can't get my film out, Andrew, because nobody wants you to see it.
We'll talk about that in a second. I want to bring the congressman in here. This has been a problem even through the Bush administration. It wasn't like having George W. Bush made a difference. This has been a problem with Republicans and Democrats. If our military crossed into a foreign territory, we'd have an international. It would be an international incident. Their military crosses in; it's a glitch in their GPS. But the funny thing is, we're always being told that to put our military on the southern border would be to militarize the border and make for bad relations. I'm sorry, that was the Mexican army on the northern border. Why does Congress? Is it Congress? Is it the presidents? Is it why is this happening?
Let me tell you about the little tiny video tape that I showed. I'd been in Congress maybe a year, so this was like 1999, okay?
So Clinton years.
Yeah, I had this, a little tape, a 4-minute tape, and what it showed was, it was a night vision camera at Organ Pipe Cactus National Park in Arizona, okay? Which now, by the way, is identified as one of the most dangerous places in the United States. But it's a campground. There's a park. There are people there in you know, their trailers and that sort of thing. It's nighttime. You got all these campers there. They're all asleep. Over on the side, it looks like a fire has started. But what it really is just this massive number of people, the body heat radiating so that it makes it look like a fire. And then all of a sudden it strings out. And you see individuals coming through Organ Pipe Cactus, through all of the trailers, one guy in the lead with an M16 or some automatic weapon, everybody else carrying a load of drugs on their back, right? And now this is a 4-minute videotape, totally silent. All you see are these people wandering past all of the trailers that are out there, carrying guns and drugs. There were 222 members of the Republican caucus at that time. I asked for the last 5 minutes to show this little film. I asked every week in the caucus. 1 week, the caucus chair was gone, and so I got to show it, right? And all I did was say, I got something to show you. 4 minutes. Plugged it in. At the end of that 4-minute film, there were 4 people left in that room.